Hey pal, wanna make a quick buck?
No, I'm alright, thanks.
You don't want no money, Goon.
He must be one of them slow types. We'll have to use the psychology on him.
Oh, Frankie's like, hey, they must run our business, huh?
Hello!
Hello, we're Nerdpool, and today we're bringing you our Goon review. This is from the comic book Goon, issues 1 through 7.
There is no synopsis to give here. We could
yes.
give the premise. No, Goon is published by Dark Horse Comics. It's written by Eric Powell. It's also drawn by Eric Powell in most of the issues that we read.
The Goon is the main character, obviously, on the front cover, and he beats up zombies. He lives in this town in, as you said, Depression, America.
I don't think it... Does it have a name, the town? Or?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think one of the streets is called Lonely Street.
There's Lonely Street.
The Goon is rather eccentric at best. It follows such a ridiculous storyline that it is a pleasure to read. The Goon himself is, from what I assume, in the pork chop business. After he sees a bunch of zombies unloading their truck, and him and Hellboy and Frankie are like, or Frankie's like, hey, they must run our business, yeah? And then he goes and punches the head off one of the zombies.
I should point out at this point that Cromac has a very particular voice in mind for Frankie, the Goon's sort of sidekick. I don't know, I can't really do the voice, but that was a little clip there for it. The Goon, his Aunt Kizzy, she was the strong woman for a circus, so he lived with her after his parents, I think, died. Now, then this gangster called Labrazio showed up and threatened the circus master. He didn't hide him from the cops. He would kill everyone in the circus. Then the cops did find them. You know, Labrazio was staying in the tent and, was trying to hide, basically. As he was trying to slip away, there was a big shootout. He killed all the cops and shot the Goon's Aunt Kizzy. Now, the Goon was horrified and grieving when Labrazio made a comment like, she shouldn't have gone another way. When the Goon, and I think he's like 12, picks up a rock and beats this hardened gangster to death.
Along the way, the Goon met this kid called Frankie. And it starts off with Frankie being bullied by some other kids. And then the Goon comes along and beats the shit out of these kids.
He's one of those old-fashioned sort of right-hook superheroes who would just like lay out the villain in one punch and then it's over, kind of thing.
So the Goon beats these kids pretty mercilessly, to be honest, and tells them to give their clothes to Frankie, because I think that was what they were bullying for Frankie's clothes that his mum made him wear.
Yeah.
So then the Goon went back with Frankie to his house, and he stayed there for a while he was, as you say, collecting debts from... So then the Goon and Frankie are going out to collect debt from this guy, and...
the guy sort of laughs in their face and throws them out to begin with.
Yes. And then later on, they go back to collect the debt again, and then the guy's trying to find Frankie and the Goon, and they go and hide in his cellar. And then as the guy goes into the cellar, they get ambushed by zombies. And so then Frankie lives up to his fear and attacks and kills a zombie. And then...
and from then on, Frankie's no longer afraid of anything. Anything. And
then the guy who they're trying to cut debt off was pretty mangled, I think.
Yeah, it was really quite gory.
Yeah, and so he gets home, and there's a message saying that if you owe the Brazilian some money, this is what happened to you, sort of thing.
Yeah. What was, your favourite thing about it? Just,
I have to say I just love the outrageousness of it. It doesn't really seem to care about any political correctness, which I love. It just...
Or reality.
No, it just goes completely out there with the story, which is just hilarious.
Oh, there are just the bits that completely defy reality, like the fact that they're friends with a giant spider.
Yes.
And it's never explained or referenced. Nobody questions it apart from Hellboy when he comes in.
They're all just like, hey Spider, hey Spider. I think he has a reputation as a bit of a cheat and a bit of a
Yeah,
criminal.
that's very funny when they're playing cards and Frankie says, "Never play." What is it? Like,
Never play cards with anyone more than 2 arms. My mother said.
I think the fact that there's just giant spider and he wears a bowler hat and nobody questions it in the
He owns
slightest.
more than one as well, because in the Hellboy one he's got a brown one, but in an early one he's got a purple one. So he obviously owns several bowler hats.
Yeah, he's clearly quite a well-respected member of society. Then there's the werewolf called Merle that they hang out with. Then the Mud Brothers, and they are swamp monsters, but they're like Goon's henchmen.
Well, what would you say is your favourite sort of element?
Well, it has to be that, but it has to be sort of it's a very dark comedy to it. It's very, very dark. It doesn't mind straying over borders, but it doesn't cross borders for no reason, but it doesn't avoid them either.
Yeah.
It just plunges straight into something, and it's hilarious. Do you have a favourite character?
I would like to say Spider, because I just love...
Quite a minor character, but
yeah,
I do see where you're coming from.
For a more major character, I'd have to say Frankie.
Oh, Frankie is just brilliant in every way.
Who would you say your favourite character is?
Alright, okay, my favourite character. Now, this is tricky because there are so many brilliant characters. So, Dr. Hieronymus Alloy. He is an evil scientist who only seems to be able to create evil inventions like death lasers and smasher robots and stuff like that, but wants to be a nice guy. Frankie is wonderful. Just so funny. I need to mention a rather minor character, the Psychic Seal. Now, how it sounds, it's a seal who is their local medium, and there's a scene where the Goon and Frankie need to go there to find out what's going on with Buzzard, and they go there, and the seal looks into his crystal ball and then goes, "Arr, arr, 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 arr," and the Goon goes, "Wait, you're saying the Buzzard? You're saying the zombie priest has got the Buzzard hostage?"
Yeah, he can only communicate in arcs.
Yeah, yes. And then the seal's like, "Arr, arr, 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 arr," and then Frankie's like, "You mean he put a spell on him? Arr, 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 arr," and they're like, "What? Arr, 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 arr. You don't say stuff like that. Arr, arr, arr. You leave my mother out of this. Arr, arr, arr."
I think he has a habit of it, because I think it happens again in later.
Yeah, he just can't help not offend. He just can't help offending people.
Yeah.
And then basically they're walking away, and the Goons just like showed him. Let's talk a little bit about the Hellboy crossover issue. The Hellboy has been sent to investigate a haunted house by the BBID, and he picks up this Goon comic book that's been shot through, and suddenly gets knocked unconscious by who knows what, you know. And then he wakes up and he's wrestling an octopus on an aeroplane.
Yeah.
The octopus has been smacking him in the head with a wrench. So he crash lands, and he soon meets the Goon.
Yeah, he crash lands quite near the Goon, right?
And then Frankie starts to call him Rosie because of the colour of his skin. And as he does that, the Hellboy just goes, "I can tell I'm not going to like you."
And I think, because they say, hey, we can get this guy back to the pub and charge $1.50 to sneak a peek at him. And then he goes to Hellboy, "Hey pal, you want to make some money?" And then Hellboy's like, "No, not really." And like,
No, yeah. Frankie turns to the Goon and says, "He don't want no money, Goon." And Goon goes, "He must be one of them slow types. We'll have to use the psychology on him." Okay, I think what was great was when Hellboy got really frustrated and punched the Goon with a stone hand. Later on, the way that Hellboy goes back to the real world, this old man, who's apparently got a gay love loves, gives the Goon this wrench and is like, "For Dennis!" Like, you know, the Goon gets the wrench and he sneaks up and goes, "Hey buddy, you remember when you hit me with that brick hand of yours earlier? That was funny." And then the next panel is just this hand with the wrench, just like, "Yeah!" And then Hellboy wakes up after with another clang, and it's back to the Mike Mignola art again, and then he just goes, "Well, we'll just pretend that didn't happen." Okay, do you have a favourite panel, Ian? Okay, do you have a favourite panel from any...
My favourite panel would have to be either Hellboy coming in and to the pub and beating the crap out of Spider, and then Frankie is like, "Hey, you ain't got no reason to be hitting on Spider for," and then Hellboy's just like, "Oh, I thought you were somebody else," and Spider's just like crying.
Spider's creeping away going, "What did I do?"
Fantastic.
My choices. Now, either when Hellboy first appears in the Goon's world, so that's on the plane with the octopus, when the Goon is having a boxing match with a cow, which is very funny. It's my favourite panel of that is the Goon, going, and then the cat. You just see the other half of the cow flying the other way because you just hit him as hard as you can. Or I can't entirely remember it, but I think so. A storyline basically is narrated, and the narrations in this are the funniest part. They're very old school comic book narrations, but they're very funny. This alien eats a frog, and then its head starts to grow and grow, so that something's going to hatch out of it. It's mutating the frog, and the narration goes, "Do we dare imagine what might grow out of this monstrosity? What huge, enormous monster might hatch from its depths, and might it in fact have enormous, jiggling bosoms?" And then my favourite panel is, he bursts out, it roars at them, and then the narration just goes, "Good God, man, not even a nipple!" Any last thoughts on the Goon?
I loved the Goon. I really did, and I really can't wait to get more.
Alright, my last thoughts on the Goon is just buy it. You're gonna love it. It's so good. Okay, would you like to give the Goon a score on Aquaman to Deadpool?
On a scale of Aquaman to Deadpool, I would love to give it a Goon,
I can see why you would.
but I'm gonna give it a Hellboy.
Really, that's even. If you were wondering, that's a little bit higher. I want to agree with you, but I'm going to go even higher. I'm rating the Goon Deadpool because it's just so good. We will see you in our next video, which will be the Walking Dead review of volumes 1, 2, and 3. Okay.
So we will see you then.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.